Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of Advanced from Advanced Export from Africa training program. Our lesson today will be focusing on how to find the right product for exports. I really hope, or I really know that you are really following all these lessons that we've been teaching you for this past days, and I am very much sure that by the end of this session you would be the best exporter that can ever come from your country, that is Ghana, either Ghana, Nigeria or Kenya. Alright, so our focus today is finding the right product for export. Now, before you start an export business, you must first figure out the type of product you want to export. You have to know which product you are going in for, the kind of product you want to start with, and the particular niche that you want to focus on. Like we said earlier, you cannot start an export business and focus on different niche of the product of products. Once you do that, it is going to make you lose focus of what you are doing. So today our focus is going to be on how you can find the right product for export. Now, how do you determine the type of product you want to export? Number one is to research on a particular product that intrigues you. In business, the best thing you can do for yourself is to choose where your passion lies. Where your passion lies. So you need to study your product inside out. Know the product that intrigues you. Choose a product that intrigues you. Study it inside out. Know the product ins and outs, because knowing your product very well will increase your chance of succeeding in your export business. Because once you know a product well, and then somebody goes to your website to order the product or to inquire about the product, you are able to tell them the quantity of the product, everything that is that regards the product. But once you can't answer all these queries, no buyer is going to take you serious. Now, you cannot just export any product if you can't even sell that particular product to yourself. It is a big blow to your export business, and you must know your product very well before you can start exporting it to the international markets. So let's say if you are dealing with melon seeds, that I think is in Ghana it is called rare, and then it is in Nigeria it is called egusi. I don't know the name they call it in Kenya though. So it is a big blow to your business if you don't know your product very well. Now, even if you don't know the product well, how are you going to sell the product to me or to any buyer? So now let's look at a case study of how you can study your product inside and out. Now, in this case study, we are going to use cocoa powder as our primary product for export. Now, assuming we want to export cocoa products, so if I ask you to determine the product made of cocoa, now the main product that will come into your mind first are chocolate, beverages, pomades, drinks, etc. Why? Because cocoa is the core ingredient of the above listed products. Cocoa is the core ingredient of the above listed products. When I ask you to mention some of the products that comes out of cocoa, probably you're going to mention Milo, and some people are going to mention this way anyway. And all these products were made from cocoa. Now, however, a product such as cocoa powder, which has been in existence for centuries and exported all over the world, can get complicated if the exporters do not know their product inside out or very well. Okay, you can't just export cocoa if you do not know what do you call it, the type of cocoa it is, because I know that we have types of cocoa, and even me who is not well abreast with that field, I know that we have types of cocoa. So if your sole aim is to go to start an export business with cocoa, then you must know cocoa very well, study the product very well. Well, of course, if you do not or you cannot study the product, then you can as well pay somebody to do it for you. But as a beginner who is starting your export journey, this isn't advisable for you to go in for somebody and pay the person, because you are working on budget. So you need to do things the right way. Now, one interesting aspect of business is that when you start afresh, even if you are doing it part-time, you need to dedicate your little time and attention to the business, irrespective of any business that you are doing. It could be exporting, it could be importing, it could be any other online business. It needs your dedication, even if it's a part-time thing. Okay, because the moment you just or you don't dedicate your little attention to the business and you get customers coming in, it makes you unserious and unprofessional in the international market. And this can be very detrimental, not only for your business but for your whole brand, because nobody is going to do business with somebody who isn't serious. I keep on repeating this over and over again. It means that it is very important. Once you set your mind to do business, in the beginning, you need to dedicate your little time to the growth of the business. Now, cocoa powder, as you know, is a consumable product, just like many agric products. Hence, it is being regulated by the government of Ghana. So cocoa powder falls under the traditional commodity exports. Now, in our previous trainings, especially in our free training, we discussed the traditional and non-traditional exports. So today we're going to delve into it much deeper, so that you would know some of the products that falls under the traditional exporting. So bear in mind that in Ghana here, we have two types of exports. We have two types of exports in Ghana. It is not the same in Nigeria, but it is slightly similar to Nigeria, but it's not the same. So in Ghana, we have two types of exporting, namely the traditional exporting and non-traditional exporting. So we will delve much deeper into that very soon, but keep that in mind, that we have two types of exporting in Ghana. Now, before you can become a cocoa exporter, you must acquire skills in different aspects of cocoa production to be able to successfully export the cocoa product. Now, acquiring your product skills will help you to gain trust in the international market and eventually win more customers. Because if you know your product well, and you know, if they ask you questions, inquiries about your product, you're able to give professional answer about your product. It makes you, gain trust in the international market. And you see that once a buyer buys from you and they see that everything that you said about the product is exactly as it is, then you see that the buyer will come back over and over again, and then they are also going to recommend you to other buyers as well, and then you are going to be or win a lot of hearts in the international market. Now, one very advantage of doing this exporting business is that you need to be truthful. You need to be truthful. Once you gain the trust of your buyers, that is all. You will just be at wherever that you are, and then the calls or the emails will start coming. Just be truthful in your business, not even only on exporting business, but any aspect of business that you are doing. Just be truthful about your product. Tell the customer or the buyer the kind of product you're selling. Tell them the quality of the product and everything. And one mistake that most small scale agri exporters make is that they send samples, quality samples of their product to their buyers, but when it comes to the real product that they have to send, then they send inferior products. Now, when you do this and unfortunately you haven't been paid already, or you agreed on terms of letter of credit, we will get to that aspect, then your goods might even be seized. I think we've treated this, but it is very important. If you don't take care, your goods can be seized. So don't send samples, quality samples, and then send the real products that are inferior. This looks like you are not serious. It looks like you are a scammer who wants to scam people. And these days, the kind of frauds on the internet is huge, so it is difficult to trust. So when you get one person who trusts you with their resources, you need to prove yourself worthy of that. It is very important, so you need to bear that in mind. Now, however, if you cannot learn the inside and out of your products, then you can as well hire somebody or partner with someone who knows your product very well, so they can explain the products very well to your international buyers to enhance your probability of succeeding in your export business. It is very important. It is very important. Once you gain the trust of your buyers, that is all you need to grow your export business. That is all you need to grow your export business. Now, one who has been in your product industry for years, so you need to get somebody who knows your product very well. If you cannot study the products yourself, then you need to get somebody. It can be a partner, or it can be somebody that you will hire or you will pay to do that job for you, so that you don't lose credibility in your field of exporting. The number 2 is choose a product with high complexity. Choose a product with high complexity. Now, products with high complexity means your product must have quite a few end products. Now, when I say a few end products, okay, we'll get to the case study. So fortunately, many agric products falls under the product complexity goal, and the more complex your product is, the better its potentials in the international or in the global market. So a typical example of a high complexity product is the cocoa powder or the cocoa bean. So a typical example of high complexity product is the cocoa. So cocoa powder, we all know, is derived from cocoa beans. And cocoa powder comes in different colors depending on the mode of application. Like I told you earlier that we have different types of cocoa. We have some that are brownish in color, and some that looks like dark brown in color, and the ones that look like very dark in color. So we have types of cocoa. Now, cocoa husks or husk are also used for biofuel and animal feeds, etc. Now, cocoa butter is also the main ingredient for chocolate production and other things as well, other products from cocoa as well. So cocoa powder can have a different chemical mix to turn into a different product. It can be what do you call it, like my product that I was telling you about, I told you about previously, the Choco Chops product. It is made of cocoa and another product as well, different types of product as well. So you see that there are a lot of end products you can get from cocoa beans. You can get a lot of things from, you can get chocolate from it, you can get pomade from it, you can get biofuel from it, you can get a lot of things from cocoa. So you can either, as an exporter of cocoa, export the raw cocoa beans or the cocoa powder or the cocoa butter, or make an end usage product from it to export. So in simple language, when your product has high complexity, it gives you the opportunity to export the same product in different shapes or form. This will help you stay focused in your international market niche. Okay, I hope you get this. So if like a cocoa powder, you can get different types of products from cocoa powder. Now, a typical example is also the hibiscus tea. A lot of products, not even only that. We have a lot of agricultural products that are high in complexity, so it can be turned into different products as well that you can benefit from such product as well. So they all falls under one niche. Okay, so they all falls under one niche which you can focus and market. Now, the case is not the same with non-agric goods such as bags, shoes, beads, etc., which serves one production purpose and has not much product complexity. Okay, so a product like shoes, bags, beads, these are just one product that has been made from the, even if there are some kind of complexity in such products, there are no much similarities and all that. Okay, so that is the main reason why, or that is one of the reasons why our focus is on agri products for export, because of its high product complexity, like the cocoa bean. Okay, a lot of agri products, just like the cocoa beans, have high complexity rates. So once you are able to penetrate in the international market with your complexity product, the benefit from it is that you get to export goods in higher quantity and volume with steadier demands. Don't forget, the market for agric products in the international market is huge. That is agric produce from Africa, because it is believed that they are very healthy compared to the other parts of the world, like we talked or we discussed in our free export training program. Now, the third is product capacity and availability. Product capacity and availability. Now, the next thing you need to consider when choosing a product for export is to select a product with adequate production capacity, which can meet international demands, or which can meet demands in the international market. So you need to get a product that has adequate product capacity, which can meet demands in the international market. Now, you need to do a thorough check on all resources you need to manufacture your product, if it's not a product that you are exporting in its raw state. Okay, and you should go with a product you can easily get or produce in Ghana or any part of Africa that you are in, any African country that you are in. You should get a product that when you use that product as your niche product, and the demands keeps coming, because once you follow all these steps that we are giving you in building your export business, the demands or the international demands are going to come in high rate. So you need to take that into consideration as well. Also, based on your research after the training, your research on selecting your product and all that, and then the market that you wish to go and all that. So based on your research will help you figure out and estimate the demand for your selected product in the international market. Now here you have to focus on product capacity, like we said earlier. And if you think you have the capabilities to produce the product as per requirement and demand, you can proceed. Okay, if you think you can meet the product demands, then you can proceed. However, in case you have any doubt or feel you may not produce or deliver the product on time due to lack of resources, then you shouldn't waste your time to choose that product option in the first place, because it is going to make you lose your international credibility. Because once you promise a buyer that you're going to meet demands and then later fail the buyer, it is a lose on your credibility in the international trade market. So the good news is that we've made the job simple for you by giving you a full list of some of the high in demand agri products to make the job easier for you, because we already, in our free training, we already gave you a list of some agri products that you can just choose from and start your research, and then voila, you are starting your exporting business. All right, so the next thing that you need to look when finding the right product is for export is product adaptivity. Product adaptivity. Now when we say product adaptivity, what do we really mean? Now product adaptivity means your product should be a product which can easily be adapted in the international market. For example, a product with high demand potential of market in Asia will not necessarily have the same demand in America due to many factors such as the physical conditions, functional requirements, cultural factors, taste, level of skills, etc. This is why I have a well-researched strategy for my students to discover their best export niche. to help them stay focused in their goals. So we've made the job easier for you. Like we said, Exports from Africa training program has done everything that will make things easier for you to just start your export business right away. All that you need is your capital and other resources to kickstart your export business. Now, the next product or the next thing you need to look out for when you are finding the right product for exporting is product potential. Product potentials. Now, the potential of a product in the foreign market should be assessed from the point of view of acceptance of the product in the foreign market. Now, I have compiled some factors for you to consider when you are choosing a product for export in the international market. Now, is there an identified need for the product in your target market? These questions you need to ask yourself. So, what is the gap between production and anticipated consumption? And to what extent will the gap be filled by international buyers? What is the percentage of import on the total demand of your product? Is the product understood and accepted by your target market? What is the general level of acceptance of imported product in your foreign market that you've chosen? What is the state of competition in the foreign market you've chosen for your product? Who are the competing exporters and from which countries? Now, when we get to the product niche, we will show you how you're going to find your competitors and then how you can deal with that. Okay, these questions will help you to define your product's export potentials. Okay, these questions will help you to define your product's export potentials, whether your product will do well in the chosen country or not. So once you realize that your product is not going to or will not move in your target country, then you need to shift your attention to a different country that will need your product. Now, when we get to the how to find your best niche or your best niche product, you're going to understand how you can do all this very easily. Now, the number 7 qualities you need to look out for when finding the right product for export is trade restrictions. So you must not take hasty decisions when it comes to exports. Before starting your international trade and production activities, you should be able to look at all your targeted countries' trade policies. So if you, for instance, if you've targeted Singapore, you need to look at the trade policies of Singapore. Know the trade policies of Singapore, okay, so that you don't have any problems with your product in the country that you've chosen. Okay, in some countries there are different types of restrictions applicable in the case of export. So perhaps the buyer, and the funny thing is it is very tricky and it gets a lot of exporters, especially the small scale exporters. Okay, now if you know your products inside and out, you are able to explain it better to the buyer, and you are able to also ask the buyer for their country's restrictions and all that. What and what documents do you need to be able to send the product to your buyer? This way, even if your buyer isn't aware of his or her country's policy, you have given the person a clue, and in such case the person will trust you because they didn't know what you have taught them. So you need to, once the buyer is buying from you and asking you questions. And please, one important thing is that make sure the order is a confirmed order before you can do all these things with your buyer. Okay, make sure the seller has confirmed that indeed they want to buy your products. Now, in such countries of restriction, buyers cannot import all types of products from other countries due to multiple reasons such as health, environmental protection, safety, etc. So you need to take this into consideration as well before finalizing on a product you want to export. Now, the next thing you need to look out for when you are finding your right product for export is product quality. I talked about it, and this is very important. This is very important because the quality of your product will determine your success in your export business. Please listen and listen very carefully. The quality of your product will determine your success in the exporting business. Unless you don't want to go far in this business, and I don't think that is the case here. So make sure that the product, when a buyer demands for samples of your product, you are sending exactly that quality that you sent as a sample to them. You don't have to change the quality of the product. Once you've sent a high quality product sample to them, you must send the same quality product to them when you are sending the real product. It is very important. Now, product quality plays a big role when it comes to the selection of products price on the international market. Mainly, the higher quality products are tagged with higher prices. So once your product has high quality, your prices goes up. So you must focus on the market standards to figure out how you can maintain your quality. When it comes to export business, quality consistency plays a big role of sustaining you in the job market. It is very important. This is very important. This is very important. Now, all the above listed can help you understand the various elements related to the selection of products for exports. Now, the next topic that we're going to treat is how you're going to develop a detailed strategy for your export business. How you're going to develop a detailed strategy for your export business. Okay, so after you've arrived on the best products that you want to choose, the next big factor of your export business is to analyze your products or your product's export potentials. Now, there are several ways to evaluate the potentials of your product in the international market. So I have listed some of the ways that you can evaluate your product potentials in the international market. Number one is determine your product's export potentials. Determine your product's export potentials. Now, examine the domestic sales of your product, especially if those of us who already have a product on the market in our countries already. So if you have a product that you are selling in Ghana already and you want to, it is a Ghana product and you want to start exporting. If you have a product doing well in Ghana or your country, then there is a higher possibility that it will also sell in other foreign markets, especially if those markets have similar needs and conditions as your country. Either you want to produce the product yourself or get it from other sources, you can still access your local market to know your product potential. To know your product potentials. So another way that you can access your export or your product export potentials is to examine the unique or important features of your selected product. Okay, you would get to understand this better when we get to the niche exporting. Now, if those features are not common in your targeted country or even in the country that you're exporting to, then it is likely that your product will be successful in the international market. A unique product may have little competition, so demand for it may be quite high. However, even if your choosing product is not that unique, you still have a chance because many products have competitors in their targeted overseas market yet are doing great. It's all about how you're going to choose your niche and how you can market your niche. Businesses have many ways of competing in the international market, including how you position your product in a specific market, and also the advantage of African agri product brand. We've already talked about this, that there are high demands of such products in the international market. Also, some help from government export authorities like the Ghana Export Promotion Agency. When you go onto their website portal, there are a lot of informations that can help you to determine your product's export potentials. Your excellent customer services or some other competitive advantage that has little to do with what is being sold but how it is sold. So it's not always about what you are selling but how you are selling it. Okay, your what do you call it, your customer service, it is very important, and how professional you present your product to the buyer. Look, there are products that are just common ordinary products but are doing very well. Okay, a product like, it is a non-agri product though, a product like a beets. I know somebody who exports beets and has reached his milestone in the exporting business because he has positioned himself as a professional in the international markets. So you can see his products on popular e-commerce platforms like Amazon, like Alibaba, like eBay, and all those platforms. Okay, and he's doing quite well. He's doing quite well on those markets. Also, free trade agreement or foreign currency exchange fluctuations that may cause your product competitors' product to be more expensive than yours. So even if your product doesn't have export potentials, or yes, doesn't have export potential, you can still try other markets as well. Okay, you can do. Now when we get to how you can select your country and all that, you would get to understand. Okay, because if everyone is exporting to the big countries like China, America, Europe, and all that, you can choose, for instance, when you go to the Asian countries, you can choose like a country like Southeast Asia, a country like India. I know that Ghanaians import or export to India a lot. You can choose a country like India, Singapore, and other countries. Okay, so you don't always have to target the big countries. Then finally, your product may have export potentials even if it's not popular in the local market. There are sizable export markets that can fit your product expertise. Okay, like I said earlier. So let's get to how you can access if you are ready for exporting. How you can access if you are ready for exporting. Now, in order to determine your readiness to export, you must first run an export accessibility test on yourself to know how prepared you are for the exporting business. Now, export ready businesses have certain qualities that increase the likelihood that their exporting efforts will be successful. So answering these important questions that I've compiled will help you or will enhance your business goals and can help you determine your export readiness. Okay, so I've compiled some questions that you can ask yourself. It's a self-assessment questions that you can ask yourself to determine your readiness for export, or to know how ready you are to enter the international market. Now, the number one is, what does you want, or what do you want to gain from exporting? You need to ask yourself, what do you want to gain from exporting? What demands will exporting place on your key resources, management and product capacity and financing? And for more theoretical assessment, it is helpful to examine some of the motivational factors that I have compiled for you. So thinking about these factors will help you to decide if you are ready to start an agri-export business. Now, some factors that you need to consider or look is your long-term expansion. Now, building an exporting business needs your dedication. So it is important to focus on building your export business on solid grounds first, even before you think about the huge benefit that it comes with. So you need to first focus on building a solid ground for your business before you even think about the benefits that you can get from it. Then increased competitiveness. So by selling internationally, you will gain insights into different ways of doing business. So this is also another advantage for you. Okay, and then also exploitation of unique technology and expertise. Now, if your product qualities are superior, you have a competitive edge in the international market. And again, improved return on investment. Your agri-export business should seek multiple benefits from exporting, such as expanded customer networks and exposure to new ideas and technology. Today, the internet has made things easier for us, unless maybe you don't know how to navigate or make good use of the internet. But if you are somebody like me who is an internet pro, who knows how to navigate the internet, who knows where to search what and all that, then it is highly possible that you're going to succeed in your export business. Now, the next thing is increased capabilities. Now, you will be able to develop better products and acquire better leadership abilities, and also collaborate better with customers and suppliers. Now, the next thing is your exporting goals. So whatever your export goal is, you should weigh your options as to whether the expected benefit will outweigh your production cost. So these are all self-assessment questions that you should ask yourself. And then also the selling point. If you already have a product doing well in your local market, the next step is to identify why it's doing well on your local market, considering the fact that conditions abroad may be slightly and significantly different. For example, like socially, culturally, economically, politically, and even environmentally wise, because our weather conditions in Africa are quite different from other countries as well. And then your modification, your product modification. Now you may sell your product without modifying it, especially if you have a product already, okay, as long as it meets standards and regulations set by the country that you want to export to. So some countries have strict government regulations that requires special testing, especially if you are exporting some agri products. However, we have free trade countries that don't need all these requirements. But there are some, especially the bigger countries that have taken import and export to the next level. For they have strict rules. That is why earlier on I said that you can focus on the smaller countries, okay, and you will get to understand it much better when we get to how you can find the best niche for your exporting products. Now, depending on the product and market, in such cases your buyer may provide you with all the necessary requirements. Like I said earlier, that you need to ask your buyers some questions. Sometimes the buyers don't even know these things, so you asking them will prompt them or will give them the notice that, oh, okay, I need to find out this. Remember, if you signed a contract on credit base, then it is going to affect the buyer as well as affect you. That is, if you do your credit based selling very well. We will get to that when we get to the pricing and the payment, okay. And then the next thing you need to look at is product distinctiveness. If your products have some unique features, it's likely to enjoy a competitive advantage and better reception in the foreign market that you've chosen, such as unique features including patents, superior quality, cutting-edge technology, and adaptability. Okay, so you need to have some unique features, especially the packaging, and we'll get to how you can package your product. That is, if you are selling them or in smaller quantity base, or you are packaging them to sell, okay. But there are people who prefer to sell them in high quantity, so we're going to show you how you can package it, especially in the high quantity orders that comes your way when your export business starts growing or starts gaining grounds. Okay, when it starts gaining grounds and the demands are high, you would see that it is much easier to do things. Okay, so you learn. Okay, you learn on the job. Once we are done with this project, our mentor is going to take you through how they've achieved their success stories. We have a lot of people that have gone through our training that are doing very well in the international market. So they will tell you how they went about their business, and now they are doing well in their chosen niche. Okay, so we have come to yet another end of today's lesson. Now the next class will be focusing on how to find the best export niche. Okay, how to find the best export niche, and it's going to be very interesting because you would get to see how you can do that on the internet yourself without any help from anybody. Remember that when you are growing your export business, it is your business, okay, and you are solely responsible for growing it to the level that you want it to reach. We may provide you the guidance that you need, But remember that you are not the only one that we are guiding. There are a lot of people that we are guiding on this field. So you need to do your own research. Even though we are giving you, and we are making it easier for you to do your research, because we will show you how you will do your research, all the research methods that you can use to arrive on the best product niche or the best product for export, and how you can go about your export business professionally without any issues. Okay, so we have come to yet another end of today's lesson, and at the end of this week's program you would be having your project work. Now the project work is going to help us to know if you've understood all that you were taught on this training program, so that we can see how best we can help you to develop your export business to where you want it to be. So till we meet again in our next lesson, my name has always been, or my name is Joycelyn. All right.